All right, this is going to be the first of two videos that I envision it will take to get all these notes down in your interactive notebook. First of all, we are going to be working, this all is taking place on page 26 of your interactive notebook. I'm including pictures that have the I can statement and showing how everything should be taped in your notebook. That's right, we're going to be taping it, do not glue it, because we have some writing to do underneath it. So, without anything further said, let's go. Now then, this is the little do and undo booklet that I gave you. This is the part of it. It says do and undo on the right, and there's a blank space up at the top. And then there are these little tabs right here. So up at the top, we're going to write this. So this would be, we're going to solve for x. And we are going to then write this equation here. So this would be 5 times x plus 7 divided by 3, which is equal to 20. Okay, so there it is. We have set that equation up. This is the very top. The little flaps are down at the bottom of it. So let's take a look at what we're going to do on those. Now this is the top flap up here. I went ahead and wrote do on there because if I was writing this equation, what I would do is I would start with x. Okay, so I would definitely start with x. Oh, and one thing I do want to do is I'm going to make a line that goes all the way down with a little arrow down at the bottom. So I would start with x. I would know what x is in this equation that I wrote up there. So the next part that I would do looking back there is I added 7. So I'm going to add 7. And that would be x plus 7. So I would add 7 to that, my variable that I know that x is. The next step that I would do, as I'm looking here, is I would multiply 5 because that's on the outside of the parentheses. So then I would multiply 5. And so that would look like this. And in order to make the multiplication come after the addition, I have to use the parentheses, as we have discussed before. So my next step would be I am going to divide it by 3. There's the 3 underneath it. So I'm going to divide by 3. So that would look like this. And finally, I'm going to end with what it would equal to. So I'm going to end with 20. So that would make the whole thing look like this, which is what we started with. Okay, so that's what I would do if I was writing that equation. So now then, to get to the undo part, we actually are going to open up all those flaps, and we'll be looking at the inside of the book, and we've got these rectangles that are inside there that have no writing. So my flaps are opened up, they're moved off to the left, and I've got this blank space in there. Okay, so first thing is first. I'm going to make an arrow that goes up this way on there because this is the undo part. The first part was when I did it, so now this is undo. So I am undoing what I did. All right, so I would start down where I finished off a while ago. So I would start with 20. Because that was the last thing that I finished doing when I wrote the problem. So this is the first place I'm going to start. So then the next step that I would undo, or that I would do in my undoing process, is multiply by 3. Okay. So that would be 20 times 3. Now remember, we're undoing the division process because we had the original problem was set up where we're dividing by 3. So to undo division, I have to do multiplication. So that gets me 60. Okay. So now then, remember before that we had multiplied by 5. So to undo that, I would divide by 5. You spell divide correctly. So then that means 60 divided by 5 would be 12. Now remember, I added 7 at the first of the problem. There's the addition by 7. So in order to undo that, I have to subtract 7. So that would be 12 minus 7 is 5. And then while ago, I started with x, so I'm going to end with x. So 5 is what x is equal to. Okay, so there is our do-undo method. So we just take and we would do the opposite things of what we did. This is what you're doing when you solve equations. All right, see you in the next video.